Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Game of Thrones episode 1 video. I think, biggest surprise was mostly things that we did not see, but it was a vast departure from the books, so I'll try to explain as we go along in my top 10 moments. And new round of the giveaway starts now. I'm giving away a signed copy of A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. I'll have some more details on that at the end of the video, but careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. So here we go. Starting with top 10 WTF moments. Number 10, Cersei flashback. This is Maggie the Frog right out of the book. They did change a few minor things, but it's pretty honorable to what happened in the book. Cersei learns about Robert's bastards, although she doesn't know it at the time. 20 seems like a high number. They killed a lot in King's Landing, like Joffrey sent the guards around to kill them all, except for Gendry, who we know is still alive, and supposedly there is a bastard in the Vale, maybe more than one. Remember, he lived there during some of his younger teenage years with Ned, so he probably has a few bastards running around somewhere in the Eyrie. I love how young Cersei is just as much a bitch as old Cersei. It's like some things just do not change. When Maggie says, gold will be their crowns, gold will be their shrouds, she's talking about burial shrouds too, meaning they'll eventually die, some sooner than others. You could take this as a warning that Myrcella and Tommen are gonna die, but really it's so vague that you can interpret it a lot of different ways. It's also kind of a sidestep into a different kind of magic than we've seen on the show. We've seen blood magic with Daenerys hatching the dragons in season 1. We've seen Melisandre's magic from the Red God, we've seen White Walker magic, which is slightly different, and we've seen the magic of the Three-Eyed Raven, all very distinct types of magic. I'm interested to see if the show tries to tie some commonalities between them by the finale, by like the series finale. In all likelihood though, George R. R. Martin's probably going to leave a lot of this, like figuring stuff out to the reader. But on to number 9, Tyrion makes it to Pentos. As expected, he and Varys end up at Illyrio's old house. We don't see Illyrio, I guess the actor isn't on the show this year. But Varys kind of explains the Blackfyre Griff storyline a little bit. He met Illyrio through a mutual friend that is part of a group that wants to see a Targaryen restoration. Because it seems like the show might be cutting out a lot of the young Griff storyline, the Targaryen Restoration Group could be some other big organization, or it could be the Golden Company. The Golden Company is just one of the bigger mercenary groups that was founded by Blackfyres. Just add a bookmark to Targaryen Restoration Young Griff storyline from the books. We can see how those things match up because they might give bits and pieces to other characters. There was that teaser that Nikolai Coster-Waldau did with the duck at the beginning of the season, or before the season started. As of this episode, I haven't seen evidence of a Blackfyre pretender, like a young Griff character, but that doesn't mean that he's not somewhere in the season. I would say Tyrion taking the drink of wine, throwing up, then drinking more, probably one of the funniest moments in the episode. Just a total boot and rally. On to number 8, Meet the Sons of the Harpy. I just did a bonus video explaining, kind of in depth where their group comes from, where they originate from, what the Harpy name is all about, so I'll add a link for that in the description. But generally, this is the group being used by the antagonistic slave masters that want to kick Dany out so they can start slaving again. There's this really TV-style device whereby they use different costumes to help you identify who is who. So bright colors here equal Sons of the Harpy people. Everyone else is either a freed slave or a second son. They all have their distinct clothing styles. Whenever there's like a big battle and you get a little confused, just look bright colors versus unsullied. I tried to figure out what the tune the whore was humming to him. It might have just been something from the Summer Isles, like wherever he was from. Like something that his mother may have hummed to him before he was sold to slavers and became an unsullied warrior. But it was kind of funny that he was like, okay, put your pants back on. This is fine. We don't need to do it this way. This new person on Daenerys' council is one of the slaves that we met in season 4. Someone from the inside of Meereen who advocated supporting Daenerys' cause from the inside. So it looks like she's elevated him to her version of the small council. On to number 7. Shit is brewing up at the wall in the wake of the battle with the wildlings. So it hasn't been that long, and they're still trying to figure out what to do with the wildlings. Alistair Thorne and Janos Slynt, if they had their way, would probably just turn them loose to the mercy of the Haunted Forest and the White Walkers and whatever else would want to eat them out there. Jon isn't in love with the wildlings, but he doesn't want to turn them away if he doesn't have to. He just wants to avoid more bloodshed. The fact that he's spending so much time with Ollie here, training Ollie, makes me a little bit worried. It's like the people with the brightest faces usually have the biggest targets on their backs. On to number 6, Stannis wants Jon Snow to get the wildlings to fight for him. This is also right out of the books. Stannis wants to make a deal with the wildlings. They're a big force, they're great fighters. He's going to need them if he's going to take King's Landing. Taking back Winterfell is like a whole other thing. Yes, he does have enough people to take back Winterfell, but because winter is coming, they might get buried in snow, so it could cause a huge problem. So the more people they have, the better. And as of right now, they're running short on supply, so it's like there's almost no food up at the wall. So things can't stay the way they've been. The wildlings either have to take off or they have to go with Stannis. They can't just sit around. The big holdup is that Mance won't bend the knee. That's what Jon has to do. He has to get him to bend the knee. On to number 5, Littlefinger and Sansa stash the Sweet Robin in the countryside of the Eyrie. The big takeaway here is that they're just stashing him away so that he can't cause any problems. Right now he's the Lord of the Vale, so he is very dangerous just for the sheer fact that he has so much power. As we see in this scene though, he is a complete and utter fool, so no one's too worried about him as long as he's off sitting in a corner somewhere. If you look really hard, you can almost see Sansa's eyes rolling into the back of her head as this all happens. On to number 4, Intro to the Sparrows. So in King's Landing, Cersei starts to eagle-eye Marjorie. We get like a teaser for the war that they're going to start between each other. All of a sudden, Lancel comes out of left field like he's been brainwashed and says, "I've been washed in the light of the Seven." This is setting up a really big book plot, so if you know where this goes, just please use spoiler tags because it's very important for this season. What you need to remember though is that Cersei is making her own plans to deal with Marjorie with Cersei, so they have this thing going on, and then there's the church in the background, so those three forces are going to be affecting each other in really, really big ways. Lancel is just like our introduction to the Sparrows until we meet the High Sparrow. On to number 3, Hizdahr compels Daenerys to reopen the fighting pits in Meereen. Remember, Hizdahr is like the representative of all the slaving families. He's a member of one of the slaving families. Even though he seems fairly harmless, I think that he's going to turn out to be the Harpy, the one controlling the Sons of the Harpy. But they do call back to the Wise Masters of Yunkai, so they've been back. Like the Wise Masters took power whenever Daenerys left. They took back power. So now she's trying to set up more of a republic situation where you have a group of people ruling the city. We'll see if that lasts. I'm going to go ahead and bet on no. I did like Dario's backstory. Like he narrates his backstory. My mother sold me into slavery, but hey, I turned into a great fighter and it helped me survive. It makes me a little wary of Daario, but so far he hasn't given me a reason to think that he's going to betray Daenerys in a big way. Not as much as I think that Hizdahr will. On to number 2, Varys explains to Tyrion why he wants Daenerys on the Iron Throne. It's always interesting to find out, what the characters, like the Westerosi characters, think of Daenerys. We as the audience are privileged in that we get to spend a lot of time with Daenerys, but Tyrion only knows of Daenerys what he's been told. And as he said, he was drunk during most of those small council meetings, so he barely remembers. Someone stronger than Tommen, but softer than Stannis. Although Stannis does seem like he has a heart. Like whenever he has scenes with his daughter Shireen, he seems fairly loving. Loving in like an icy cold Stannis kind of way. I think what Varys is implying is that he wants Tyrion to go be on Daenerys' small council. More than anything, he's a gifted politician, so he can help Daenerys with her people problem. Daenerys can raise soldiers, that's not her problem. It's dealing with citizens that's her problem. And finally, my number 1 WTF moment, Mance Rayder burned at the stake. This is also right out of the books. He gets burned at the stake, but it seems like they departed from the books. I don't want to give away too many spoilers because it's at the end of book 5 and most people haven't read that. Melisandre uses a little bit of her glamour magic and there's a bit of a twist in the plot. I'm assuming that they just cut that out. So unless we see otherwise in a future episode, just assume that Mance is dead. The book stuff spills over into Rattleshirt, and it seems like Rattleshirt was in the trailer, so whenever we see him in like a future episode, I'll explain that a little bit more. But the big takeaway is that they kill Mance, so they're gonna try and treat with the Lord of Bones. He's like the new leader of the Wildlings. So hopefully he and Jon can come to an arrangement. Here's my big question for you guys though. What was your favorite moment from the episode? And once Tyrion eventually makes it to Daenerys, what do you think that he's going to be helping her with specifically? Like, what is she going to ask him to do? I think it would really just be the same stuff he did when he was Hand of the King in season 2. Mostly like tedious administrative stuff, managing managers, so that everything in the city just ran smoothly. He's also a really good battle planner too. I'd be interested to see, who is better at making war, Tyrion or Daario? Daario's a better fighter and he does lead the Second Sons, but that doesn't make him a genius war master. The army that Daenerys has is vastly greater in size than the Second Sons. Daario's more like a spec ops guy. Like when you need to infiltrate somewhere or some covert op, that's the person you send in. Some of my other favorite moments though were like the creepy looks that characters were giving each other. Like, there was the nice creepy moment with Jaime and Cersei above Tywin's body. Not quite the same as the last time they were standing over a dead body. I didn't say a lot about Tywin's funeral. There is a small change from the books. He farts a lot. Like it's really stinky and it ends up being this really funny thing because he's such a powerful person and everyone hates him. Pod and Brienne were a lot of fun too. Mostly, I'm just happy that she's not dead. Melisandre looking at Jon Snow too though. Oh man. She was looking at him like he was like a piece of cake or something. Like she was just gonna eat him. And Daenerys visiting Viserion and Rhaegal. I'm just waiting for them to go apeshit. Just a reminder, my Q&A for this is going to post tomorrow. We'll announce the winners of my book giveaway, the signed books. My next bonus video will post next Sunday. If you have any requests for that, just leave them in the comments. I might do like House of Black and White or something like that. If anyone wants to help me out with subtitles, you can actually submit fan subs for any of my videos. So if you just want to do like Game of Thrones videos, that'd be amazing. That'd be like a huge help to me. If someone does it on a regular basis, there also might be like an extra gift card in there for them too. So in case you guys haven't seen it yet, you can click here to learn more about the history of the Sons of the Harpy in Marine, and you can click here for the Q&A video. I'll update that annotation as soon as I post that video tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. This is going to be such an awesome season. Everybody, let's high five. I'll see you tomorrow.